But the states that you went through was the homeostasis, which our bodies love balance. So stay balanced. And then we put a stressor in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have allostasis,
Mm-hmm.
which is the improvement. And then we have a return to homeostasis. Can you talk about that process? So if I decide, yes, I'm going to start running, I'm going to put some stress on my body that it won't necessarily like me for doing initially, but it's the right thing to do. Can you talk about that process that way, how that's working?
Yeah, so exercise, as you pointed out, is a perfect example of this concept of hormesis. So this very mild stressor, which is actually going to kind of prime your system and actually make it more robust in the end. And it kind of, when we're in a steady state, our bodies are trying to maintain homeostasis, which is, a given temperature and, all these kind of biochemical ranges that your body tries to maintain. As we encounter stressors in our life, we go through allostasis, which is kind of your body's response to that stressor. So it needs to move out of homeostasis to respond to the stressor. And then the idea is that it should move back. And actually, if you do this, you kind of dynamically can have these mild stressors, and then you move back to homeostasis. Our bodies get better at doing that and better at adapting to stressors that might come up in our lives. You can imagine, though, if you have a huge stressor, your body might not actually be able to move back very well, or you might end up in a slightly different kind of state. So the idea is to have these mild ones that our body can adapt to. And then there's potential that actually they can get a little more stressful over time, but you're better at adapting to them. The important thing, and as this is something we see in exercise too, is also this recovery. So you have enough time for your body to move back to this homeostatic kind of steady state space. And this is where we see things like chronic stress being a problem, because your body never has time to move back to this adaptive state. So we know there's a lot of chronic stress in terms of psychosocial stress that people undergo that just never lets up. And I think this is kind of maladaptive stress. But actually, these acute small stressors can actually be very beneficial to our overall functioning.